Hello everyone, I'm Darren again. Today's topic is looking at shame, or more specifically, toxic shame. Today I'm going to look at what shame is, what can make it toxic, where it can come from, and lastly, some ideas to help overcome it. But just to begin with, shame is what Carl Jung described as the soul-eating emotion because it can become consuming. It can be very judgmental, telling you that you should know better or be able to do better, or that you're less than others. Others would reject you if they knew the truth about you. But I think we often confuse guilt and shame as meaning the same thing. In fact, the terms are often used interchangeably, and I guess, yes, we can feel both at the same time, but they are different. Guilt is what we feel whenever we think about the consequences of something we have done or maybe neglected to do, whereas shame is what we can feel whenever others are thinking about it. But it can also be what we feel whenever we think about what we are, or in some cases, what we've been led to believe we are. The things that we're told we should feel ashamed of, such as maybe our character, how we look, where we're from, maybe having the wrong opinion or not knowing something. But another aspect of shame can be something that we feel whenever we reflect on the things that have happened to us, perhaps the way we were treated, disempowered, or humiliated. Narcissistic people can be very good at leading their victims to believe that they are responsible for their own bad treatment. Either that, or there's something wrong with them for not being okay with being treated disgracefully. And whenever shame becomes toxic, it can be very damaging. It can lead to constant self-condemnation. It can distort perceptions where people judge themselves harshly, feeling bad about who and what they are at their very core. It can also lead to deeply ingrained beliefs that anything they want to do is selfish or doomed to failure. Others will laugh at them, hate them, or reject them for it. So, in order to overcome toxic shame, it is worth paying attention to where it comes from. Is it really from your past actions, or is it from other people continually dragging up or pointing out your errors? Is it from what others have led you to believe about yourself? When repeatedly told that their choices are wrong, their motives are selfish, or their actions cause other people pain, well, over a period of time, this can lead people to believe that they're a bad person. And manipulative people can exploit this by telling or threatening to tell others. They rely on your fear of public opinion, so recognize this could be what's going on. Those who weaponize your vulnerability tend to be insecure about themselves, and many of their threats are based on a perception of you, not necessarily reality. So rather than absorb their attacks, their remarks, their put downs, even their threats, just ask yourself a simple question: how true is any of this? Don't let their contorted opinion define you, and try not to internalize their negativity, because their attempts to shame you is more a reflection on them, not you. And if you choose to respond to them, then do it with dignity and confidence. Next, try to recognize what triggers the feelings of shame. It could be a specific person or people, maybe certain situations or certain memories. Whatever it is, try to recognize the triggers, because then you have something to begin to disarm. And journaling can help with this. Now, over a long period of time, toxic shame can have you questioning your every action for maybe fear of being found out as being worthless, stupid, or evil, or whatever. Sometimes I think it takes us to recalibrate our moral compass, get a more realistic sense of right and wrong. Because yes, we may have done or said things that we have regretted in the past, but the key word is regret, and we can learn from regret. Challenge the shame, maybe do a little bit of cognitive reframing. Things like, I've made mistakes, but that doesn't make me a bad person, or I don't know everything, but that doesn't make me stupid. Not being flawless doesn't define your worth, and perfect doesn't exist. Also, try to set some realistic expectations. Instead of saying things like, I should have known, well, how about I wish I'd known? Instead of things like, I should be able to, how about I'd like to be able to, or I'll try? Because when shame becomes toxic, it tends to thrive on distorted thinking habits. As I often say, well, don't believe everything you think. Thoughts aren't evidence. They can change. By challenging your thinking habits, you're rewriting your internal dialogue. Yes, it might take some time. Yes, it might take patience. But it's also going to take a little bit of self-compassion. So maybe cut yourself some slack. If you're ruminating over past errors in judgment or situations that you've handled badly, or maybe you're fearing what others will think of you, well, just remember that being wrong isn't always a sign of weakness. And reflecting on past errors can be part of the learning and the healing process. The regret we feel can help us to regulate our behaviour. We learn from experience and we can choose to act differently in future situations and interactions. Next, if you have to, forgive yourself. Although shame can be painful, it doesn't define you as a person. When it's toxic, there can be a fear of other people rejecting you, and this can be a powerful deterrent from making connections with other people. But none of us are perfect and flawless. We all have regrets. At some point, we've all turned left when we knew we should have turned right. We've all done and said things we wish we hadn't. So, like I say, if you have to, forgive yourself. And lastly, don't accept blame that isn't yours. For instance, making wrong choices based on information that you had at the time, or maybe believing someone else's lies, or even just being associated with someone who turned out to be a monster. Remember, you're not a mind reader, nor are you responsible for other people's actions. Take responsibility for yourself, not for other people. So, there are just a few ideas to help overcome toxic shame, but I would like to say that counselling can help you to explore those feelings and beliefs, where they came from, and how to expunge them. And remember, as I said a moment ago, shame is not a nice feeling, but it can help us to regulate our behaviour. It stops us doing things that we regret, but it doesn't have to stop us doing things that are in our own best interest. I would like to ask if there's anything that you find helpful in overcoming toxic shame. And if you feel comfortable enough to do so, then please share it in the comments section, because someone reading it might just benefit from your wisdom and your experience. But if you find this topic to be helpful, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.